techniques out of the many that I've found that can make a massive impact on finding the right friends. So we've talked about our friends, which is an element of our life we have full control over. We can decide who to hang out with. But then there's this other element of our relationships that we do not get to decide who is in and who is out. And that is our family, our genetic ties, people in our lives that bring us into this world and that we share DNA with. And for some people, the word family brings up feelings of happiness, feelings of warmth and love. But sadly, as a therapist, I've seen many clients who do not have a positive association to family. And the top 3 excuses that I've heard why people are not close with their family, number 1 is, my family just doesn't care about me. You know, they're so focused on their work, and my parents don't care, and my brothers and sisters don't care about me. The they don't care excuse holds people back from being really close to their family. How do you know that they don't care? Are you assuming that because of their behavior? Because what I have found is just because someone's showing you one behavior does not mean that you really know what's going on the inside. To sit back and tell yourself over and over that someone doesn't care about you is going to continue to drive a wedge between you and your family members. Number 2, second excuse that I hear why people aren't close with their family is, you know what, my family's just stuck in a rut. They'll never change. You know, maybe there's some truth to that. I'm not going to pretend that everyone is always changing and getting better, and many people don't. But I've had family members in my life that were dealing with massive challenges, and they looked as if they were never going to change. And right when I thought that there was no hope, they found a moment in their life where they decided to shift their behavior, completely change their focus, which had an impact on their life. I'm here to tell you, you gotta keep up love for your family, even if you think there's no hope. If you think that your mom, your dad, your sister, they're always going to be that way, and they're always going to be angry or depressed or dealing with massive addictions, keep an open mind. Don't sit back and use that as an excuse. People are capable of change. And the best way that we can encourage change is by being the influence of change. Live out a healthy lifestyle if you want your family to see you as healthy. Live out a lifestyle of content and peace if you want them to be peaceful and content. You have to emanate that from within you. The third and final excuse that I hear is that they just don't accept me. People use the fact that they don't feel accepted by their family as an excuse not to get close. I'm here to tell you, your family doesn't have to accept you. You have to accept yourself. And then when you accept yourself, whether or not you think that they accept you is irrelevant. If you're constantly wanting your family's approval, constantly wanting their praise, constantly wanting to feel like they accept you, you're going to be frustrated. Doesn't matter who you do that with, not just your family. So don't sit around and use they don't accept me as an excuse to not have a great relationship with them. Your family is someone that hopefully you will have a connection with your entire life. You want to be able to build that bond. You don't want to use excuses to drive a wedge between the two of you. I want to share with you my philosophy on how to have a phenomenal relationship with your family. It consists of 3 parts. The first part is look for what's best in your family members. If they are extremely logical, see that as an asset. If they're extremely emotional, see that as an asset. If they're calculated, if they're jovial, if they're fun, whatever it is that you can see is their best attribute, focusing on that. It will make you feel closer to them, and you will appreciate them more. The second thing you can do to bring yourself much closer to your family is catch them doing things right. Sadly, especially as parents, it's easy to look for what's wrong about somebody, catch them doing things wrong. I'm here to tell you, start catching people doing things right in your family. and point them out and share them with other family members in front of them. Publicly praise them. I take on the philosophy also that you need to make sure that your family feels that you really care about them. Exude that as much as possible, even if they don't reflect that back. You can't control how other people treat you, but you can certainly control how you present yourself to them for them to decide how they want to continue to treat you. The last thing that I want to share with you is, if it's so toxic, if your family members are so destructive, you don't have to swear them off forever and decide they're no good to you and cut them out of your life. Spend less time with them. Love them from a distance. Know that in your life, maybe they're corrosive. Maybe they have addictions that they're not ready to deal with that are weighing you down. You can continue to love them from a distance, sending them letters, calling them, giving them encouraging little gifts. You don't have to spend massive amounts of time with your family, but if you let them know that you love them, that you catch them doing things right, and that you're proud of them, your relationship with them will improve. Now we're at the techniques portion. Dealing with our family. What are the top 3 things we can do with our family to have a better connection? Number 1, do what they love to do. Let's say you moved out of your house. You barely see your family, but maybe around the holidays. And when you're with them, they drive you nuts. So I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can do to get closer to them in the time you spend. Number 1, people are usually tolerable when you do what they love to do. Figure out what is something that they really enjoy. Figure out where do you have to go, maybe what location, what kind of restaurant, what kind of food, what kind of atmosphere do they feel is their favorite. Then go to that with them. If you love them and you want to have a quality bonding time session, do what they love, and that tension will begin to release. Number 2, so after you have chosen where to go, when you spend time with them, listen. Just listen. It is so easy to get caught up in the idea that we need to be giving our family members advice. Unsolicited advice causes tension in most family members. So, when you are doing what they love and you're listening, asking lots of quality questions to get to know what they're going through, you're not giving it advice, then the 3rd aspect is forgive. Really get good at forgiveness. Maybe in the past they were mean to you. Maybe they were mean to you 5 minutes ago. But if you want to have a connection with them, get good at forgiving. It's a big part of loving our family members. When we are with our family, we probably have a long history because we've known them since birth. And that gives a lot of time for errors, a lot of times for judgment, making bad mistakes. And just like you would want to be forgiven, I'm going to encourage you to reach out and forgive your family. Not because you want to condone their actions, but because you want to rekindle the connection. And it's what you would want as well. So remember, do what they love, listen without advice, and be open to forgiveness. I love love. And we're in the final 3rd of this last video, talking about romance, romantic relationships. Love is such an interesting thing because when it's there, we feel like we can float on a cloud. And when it's not, or when it's unrequited and we can't get it back, we feel like we're 10 feet below ground. And in this portion of the video, I want to help those that are single, as well as those that are already in relationships, understand a little bit more about love. So let's talk about what causes people to come together. And let's talk about what you can do to improve the relationship you're in, or get the right one to occur in your life. In order to talk about love, I want to talk about attraction versus good looking. Good looking has everything to do with structure and presentation. Presentation is how you carry yourself, with your attitude, how you dress, has everything to do with your hair and your makeup, everything that you have control over. It also has to do with your structure, things that you do not necessarily have control over, based on your height, your weight, your facial symmetry, how your eyes look, all those things that are genetics and also based on environment. And good looking is nowhere near as important as being attractive. So what is attractive? How is it any different than good looking, Sean? Well, attractive is an attitude. It's an energy. It's a way that we present ourselves through our words and the looks in our eyes. When somebody is bringing an attractive energy into a relationship, you want to spend more time with them. When they take it away, you feel repelled. You feel disgusted by them. So my goal here in this video is not to talk about how to be more good looking. It's going to be more about how to be more attractive. So let's spend some time together talking about the excuses that people use to not get into relationships and not to make their relationships better. Stay tuned. Are you single? Are you in a relationship? Either way, I've found that excuses can really put a cramp on allowing love to flow into your life. Let's talk about some of those excuses. If someone's single, the biggest excuse they use for not being in love is there are no good available people. There's no good men. There's no good women. All the good ones are taken. Ever thought that? Ever said that? That excuse repels the good people. That excuse causes you not to notice the good people because it causes your brain to only focus on what you don't like. And so then, even if the best person in your life appeared, you wouldn't even be able to see them. They'd be right in plain sight, completely invisible to you. Knock that excuse out right now. Oh, there's no good available man or woman. That's ridiculous. Let it go. It's hurting you and cramping the good energy from coming into your life in the experience of love. If you're in a relationship, the excuse people use for making the relationship even better is, well, but I know everything there is about this person. I see that people use assumptions all the time with their relationship of knowing who their partner is. Oh, I've known them and dated them for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. But there's always new elements of our personality being developed. There's always new preferences being added, new discomforts that are being found out. And we don't want to get caught in the habit of believing that we know everything there is to know about someone. It takes away all the magic. It takes away all the connection. The last excuse that I hear people use in relationships, either being in one or getting in one, is they're afraid to get hurt. So they shoot low, meaning they go after people that they aren't really that interested in because deep down inside, if it doesn't work well, they aren't that hurt. But what happens if they go after somebody they really care about, that is the kind of person they've always wanted to be with, and that person rejects them? That's really going to sting. So they avoid that pain. And then they also avoid that really great relationship. I'm going to encourage you to kick out the excuse that you're afraid of getting hurt, and that's why you're not getting into great relationships. Kick out the excuse that you're bored and that you already know that person. And kick out the excuse that there's no good person available. Those excuses are weighing you down. They're cramping the energy from flowing into your life. Love is a phenomenal experience. In fact, I believe there is no greater feeling than feeling loved by someone romantically. When you feel that romantic love pulsing through you, you feel why you were actually put on this earth. Procreation and being able to bond through a pair is probably the biggest genetic impulse and push to a human's life. So let's make sure that we understand who we are so that we can attract the right person. So you're single. or you're in a relationship. Why are relationships even important? I'm open-minded. I believe that if you want to be single and date around